So let me see. The next Samyutta is Samappadhana, right? Efforts. Oh, there's only one sutta I want to read, so I might as well read it. So this is chapter 49, discourses on the four right efforts, Samappadhana. This Samyutta, there's only 54 suttas, but a lot of them have been are very similar to previous suttas, so no need to read them. So I only read one sutta. That's the first sutta, 49.1. At Savatthi, there the Blessed One said, "Monks, there are these four right efforts." What four? Here, monks, a monk generates desire for the non-arising of unarisen, evil and wholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. He generates desire for the abandoning of arisen, evil, unwholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. He generates desire for the arising of unarisen, wholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. He generates desire for the maintenance of arisen, wholesome states, for their non-decay, increase, expansion and fulfillment by development. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. These are the four right strivings or four right efforts. Monks, just as the river Ganges slants, slopes and inclines towards the east, so too a monk who develops and cultivates the four right strivings or efforts slants, slopes and inclines towards Nibbana. And how, monks, does a monk develop and cultivate the four right strivings so that he slants, slopes and inclines towards Nibbana? Here, monks, a monk generates desire for the non-arising of unarisen, evil, unwholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. Similarly, he generates desire for the abandoning of arisen, evil, unwholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. He generates desire for the arising of unarisen, wholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. He generates desire for the maintenance of arisen, wholesome states, for the non-decay, increase, expansion and fulfillment by development. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. These are the four right strivings or four right efforts. It is in this way, monks, that a monk develops and cultivates the four right efforts or strivings so that he slants, slopes and inclines towards Nibbana. That's the end of the sutta. So there are four parts of this right effort. The first two is connected with unwholesome states of mind. So if the unwholesome states of mind have not arisen, then we don't allow it to arise. And if it has already arisen, then we quickly abandon, get rid of arisen unwholesome states of mind. And then the third and the fourth concerns wholesome states of mind. If wholesome states of mind have not arisen, then we make an effort to arouse, to make wholesome states of mind arise. And if wholesome states of mind have already arisen, then we make an effort to maintain, to prolong, to increase the arisen wholesome states of mind. So if you want to practice these four right efforts, you constantly have to look into your mind, see whether your mind has wholesome states of mind or unwholesome states of mind, and you take corresponding action, you make the effort. So this is the sixth factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. So it's important so that we can change our character. Without observing your mind, you cannot change your character. Now we go to the next Samyutta. Samyutta number 50, Bala-samyutta. Bala means the powers. Just now we read the Indriya, the faculties. Now it's a similar thing, the Balas. 50.1. Monks, there are these 5 powers. What 5? The power of faith, the power of energy, the power of recollection, sati, the power of concentration, samadhi, the power of wisdom, panya. These are the 5 powers. Monks, just as the river Ganges slants, slopes and inclines towards the east, so too a monk who develops and cultivates the 5 powers, slants, slopes and inclines towards Nibbana. And how monks? Does a monk develop and cultivate the 5 powers so that he slants, slopes and inclines towards Nibbana? Here monks, a monk develops the power of faith, which is based upon seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release. He develops the power of energy, the power of recollection, the power of concentration, the power of wisdom, which are based upon seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release. It is in this way, monks, that a monk develops and cultivates the 5 powers so that he slants, slopes and inclines towards Nibbana. That's the end of the sutta. So these 5 powers are the same as the 5 faculties. And you notice that when you develop each of these powers, that it is based upon seclusion. Seclusion means aloofness. Aloofness from society, from people. If you want to develop the holy path, you must develop seclusion from other people so that you can go into your mind. Liberation is not found outside. Liberation is found inside here. Because the Buddha says the world is inside us. The arising of the world is also inside us. The cessation of the world is also inside us. The path leading to the cessation of the world, this world of suffering, Hu-hai, is also inside us. So when he says inside us, it means in our mind. The source of the world is in consciousness, and consciousness is in our mind. So the source of liberation is to end the flow of consciousness. And because consciousness flows from inside the mind, we have got to go to the inside of our mind to stop the flow of consciousness, which is the cause of the world. That's why you have to practice seclusion. Eventually, if you want to attain liberation, and then dispassion. Dispassion is like being tired of the world, wearied of the world. Xian liao, ya liao, im jo, moi jo. And cessation of all our craving and all that. And then you will mature in liberation. This is the only sutta that is worth reading in this chapter. So I think I'll stop here because then next chapter is the Iddhipada, and it's quite a number of suttas to read. So we start it tomorrow. Anything to discuss?
When the right answer, when we continue to our mind and be aware of the state of our mind, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome, are we using Samyutta Nikaya or as the Satipatthana contemplating state of our mind?
Are we using Yoniso Manasikara or Satipatthana? When we look into our mind, that's using sati, not exactly satipatthana, but sati. And yoniso manasikara means paying proper attention. Paying proper attention. And that is usually used for, like when we listen to the Dhamma, then we are supposed to have yoniso manasikara. So when we look into the mind, it's more of sati.
The other thing is the happiness, we read most of that, it's like different type of happiness in a different genre. So I was just wondering, in the Latika Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, Latika's parents and him, after the Nikaya, they were happy for a week, and Latika was pleased.
Oh yes. That could be for his parents. That could be carnal happiness, carnal delight. Because you remember we read one sutta, I think on page 1284. You look at 1284. Yeah, 1284 talk about spiritual delight, and then before that is carnal delight, carnal rapture here. So carnal delight refers to the delight that arises because of the five chords of sensual pleasure. When the sights, sounds, smells, taste and touch give us pleasure, that delight that arises because of that is the carnal delight. Whereas the spiritual delight must enter the jhana to attain spiritual delight. So since they were not in the state of jhana, so it probably is not spiritual delight. Because spiritual delight here refers to that first jhana and second jhana. And then similarly at the bottom, you see carnal happiness and spiritual happiness. Carnal happiness also is because of the five chords of sensual pleasure, whereas spiritual happiness is because of the first, second and third jhana. And then on page 1285, carnal equanimity is also dependent on the five chords of sensual pleasure. And spiritual equanimity refers to the fourth jhana. It's quite an important sutta. I always keep this sutta in mind.
We always go speak about one of the things to do is arouse and create a fight. How do we arouse?
Since we are talking about right effort, and right effort talks about wholesome and unwholesome states of mind, that means you put energy to observe the mind, whether it is having wholesome or unwholesome states of mind. And then once you recognize whether it's wholesome or unwholesome states, then you take appropriate action, either to discard the unwholesome states of mind or to develop wholesome states of mind, etc. So putting effort in that direction is energy. And there are some suttas in the Majjhima Nikaya which tells you how to get rid of these. It's called all the taints, sabba asava sutta. Sabba is all, asava is these taints, these defilements. So that's why it's good to study more suttas. All the techniques are all given by the Buddha already, and that's why the Buddha's teaching is complete.
Chitta and Ananda Samatha, they are both understanding, and yet they are they need a mission to provide everything to the Sangha, like to cook nutritious food to offer to the monks. So I was just wondering that in their state they would be very inclusive and probably meditating most of the time, but yet they are very dedicated to doing dharma. So I was thinking of what kind of motivation, because I can see that it's already very advanced.
Firstly, people are all different. So you see, even the Arahants, their characters are very different. Like Ananda is a very friendly Arahant, a very friendly monk, whereas Kassapa is very aloof and very direct. Some of his words are very piercing, they poke you. So in the case of these anagamins who like to do dana, I'm sure it's out of gratitude for what they have learned from the Sangha. So they want to support the Sangha as best as they can. And also because the Buddha has already stated that it is the duty of lay devotees to support the Sangha. That's why they do it, but mostly out of gratitude to the Sangha. There are some people who are so devoted to the Sangha that sometimes they buy very good things for the monks, very good things that they themselves don't use. They think it's too expensive for them to use, but sometimes they go out their way to buy for monks. It's out devotion. People can only do this when they understand the Dhamma. When they understand the Dhamma, then they do more than what is normally done by most people. In fact, in the monks' Vinaya, in the monks' precepts, the Buddha said there are some stream enterers, people who have just entered the stream because of understanding the Dhamma, and they have become an Arya, and they have so much faith for the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha that they do dana more than they can afford, because some of these devotees, they are not rich, but they give more than they can afford, so much so that their family suffers. And in the monks' Vinaya, the Buddha said, if a monk knows that such a family is like that, I think the word he uses initiates. People have been recently initiated into the Buddhist religion, and they have full faith and confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, so that they do dana offerings beyond their capacity. Then the Buddha said, the monk, if you know there's such a family, you should not go there, because you go there, it make it difficult for them. Which reminds me, many years ago, 20 over years ago, when I was a new monk, I was in Thailand. So I went on this, what they call Tudong, forest trekking with one Thai monk. So this Thai monk, at that time I was about 38 years old and he was 45 years old. And he was very fit. And he brought me to a cave, We walked a long way from somewhere, Ratburi, and down to Padang Besar. So he brought me to a cave beside a stream. The stream, the river was muddy river. When you want to make tea, you want to drink water, you have to collect the muddy water and boil it. And then nearby, there were only three houses, three Buddhist houses. And Padang Besar area, all the people are very poor, and the other houses are Muslim. So the only three houses will support us, you see. So he had stayed there for, I think, 2 years previously. So he encouraged me to stay alone there. He was about to leave. He asked me to stay there, encouraged me there. But I thought, these people are so poor. If I stay there, it will be a burden on them. So I didn't stay there. So it's like this. And I thought about these people who give beyond their means. Okay, shall we end here?